going on Hustlers. No, you're not going to get confused. This man is here on our channel right now. This is the one, the only, Steve Raiken.
.com.
Oh, man.
I'm in my
you
car.
go with the .com. You think this is your channel.
Crap, I got confused.
No. I see how it is. I was trying to set you up for it, but you jumped in early.
I got excited, man.
Yeah. How you doing, Steve?
Hey, awesome,
Good
man.
seeing you again.
I appreciate he's been helping me a lot behind the scenes with all different types of things. So it's great to be on your channel, man, to
absolutely
support your viewers.
Yep. So I said I was going to get into doing some interviews with some other resellers, and look, here we go. We kick it off.
Let's do it,
with
man.
Nothing but the man who kind of got us started.
Let's rock it.
You know, it was your videos early on that got us started. Speaking of getting started, what got you started in reselling?
Yeah. So funny enough, I was watching YouTube. I was working at the Cracker Barrel at the time, and I was working 9 to 5, broke, living at home with my parents. I was overweight. I was smoking cigarettes. I mean, my life was just all messed up, and I knew one thing I had to do was change my financial life, because there ain't no way I could do that. I just couldn't do it any longer. It was taking my soul away. And I went on YouTube and I was searching for ways to make money, and I came across the Bonafide Hustler. He had 200 subscribers at the time, and he was flipping bicycles and all these weird things. And I said, you know, bicycles seems cool. Went on Craigslist, found some bikes, started flipping them. I was harassing him on Facebook all the time, and he only had a couple hundred subscribers, so I could penetrate through. And long story short, that summer I flipped a couple hundred bikes, made like almost like $10,000 to $20,000. I don't remember, but it was a lot. And I think I'd saved up like $5,000. I paid all my bills. Everything was good. Quit my job. From there, I was hooked. I moved on to clothing. I was selling clothing full time. Learned about Amazon, FBA. Was documenting my journey, and it's just been one stepping stone to another. And now I've built, I think I have 8 income streams. So it's just been a crazy journey, man.
Yeah, it is. It is definitely a very interesting journey. So you started with bicycles. Now, you're up here in the Northeast, you're in Connecticut. Bicycles have got to do great during the summer.
Yeah.
Was that what made you switch and go into clothing? Was the seasonal change?
Yeah, the seasonal change, because once wintertime hit, I was posting these bikes and no one was buying them. I was still buying them, and remember, I'm living at home at my parents' house. So I'm stacking these bikes up in my parents' garage. My dad, he was starting to get pissed off because he couldn't even walk through the garage anymore. And I'm like, wow, these things aren't moving. So I started to look around thrift stores and stuff, because I was going there to find bikes. I would just go there to look for bicycles. That's it. I would rarely find them. I found most of them on Craigslist. But I said to myself, what's something that I can find in abundance? I don't ever want to run into this problem again where I can't find inventory. And I said, wow, men's clothing, like, it's huge. I love fashion. I'm interested in it. There's got to be something here. And I found one YouTuber at the time. His name was Ronnie. And he had a channel back in the day called Hearts Motor Company or something. Now I think it's Heart Pickers. He was the only one doing clothing. I learned from him, and over the next 3 years, I built a full-time clothing business. We're selling $5,000 to $8,000 a month, profiting around probably $3,000 or more, and that was enough to pay all my bills. I didn't have any debt really, besides a Hyundai Sonata that I'm in still now, that's paid off, and I was living at home rent-free. I didn't really have any bills, so $3,000 a month was great.
Absolutely. So you made videos documenting your journey throughout the process, and I'm sure you've heard it a million times from people out there. They either love you or they hate you.
Oh yeah.
There's resellers out there that say you ruined clothing. You made it bad for them. Those are the resellers that can't get out of their own way.
There's a reseller right now, Greg, the valet picker. He lives an hour away from me, but he hits all these, sorry to cut you off, but he hits all this area all the time. I think he's doing like $6,000 or $8,000 a month clothing still in 2019. So it's all BS.
Yeah, it is.
It's harder though.
And
it's not as
where
easy anymore. I'm not
it.
gonna sit here and BS anyone. It's not as easy anymore because there's more competition, and thrift stores. Mostly, it's not even more competition. Thrift stores have jacked their prices up.
They've jacked their prices, as well as some of them are now listing on eBay themselves and selling some of those premium brands.
I've never heard of them listing their clothing on eBay, at least over here.
I've seen it in the Syracuse area. They will take the premium stuff and move it to one particular store because it's up in the university area. So that store has a special name to it. And you'll go in there and find some premium labels.
Oh,
and
that's
the prices
interesting.
are jacked up. But you also find them selling on eBay as well as their own website.
Yeah, I wouldn't put it past them. But I'll tell you right now, a lot of thrift stores aren't doing really well in this area. There's actually a Savers that's getting ready to go out of business. So these thrift stores are getting a little too greedy, and I think they should go back to their roots. Obviously, you have to adapt or die, but they're getting a little crazy now, and I don't think they realize how much resellers, kept their business going.
Absolutely. So you've tried bicycles, you've done clothing, you do books, you do retail arbitrage. What else have you tried?
Well, on the reselling side, I mean, there's a lot of different things. Board games, I love selling board games, video games, puzzles, anything new in the box. A lot of that's kind of considered retail arbitrage. But also, that's like one side of my business, but the other side has been like, it's been a blessing. My YouTube channel, I've got a membership website that I run with the Bonafide Hustler now. It's funny, I learned from him, and now he's a partner of mine with the College Picker.
Absolutely.
So affiliate marketing, creating my own products, adding value that way. So it's been amazing, the reselling side and the kind of informational side.
Speaking of that group, it's called The Green Room. There's a link down below. That is an affiliate link. He will give me money if you join, so please go join. but in all seriousness,
I was reaching for my wallet. I was like, all right.
Yeah. In all seriousness, I think the biggest thing is getting yourself embedded for any new reseller into these communities. The Green Room has provided a lot of value to us. Getting involved in local meetup groups like what we're here for tonight. It's just crazy that you can come to an event and learn something new from 10 different people while you're there.
And can I say one thing as well to kind of touch on that? You might be in a certain place right now. You might be selling bicycles, or you might be doing liquidation, or you might be selling books, and you might be miserable, or maybe you're not making enough money. But when I first started, I thought that bikes was going to be the only thing I did for the rest of my life. But I didn't realize, like looking back now in hindsight, I didn't realize that every new venture I got into, every new item I sold, it was a stepping stone to something better.
Yep.
And if you're positive, if you're optimistic, if you hang out with like-minded people, if you're open to change, if you're resistant and you're always pessimistic and you always think the worst, you're going to be stuck where you are. But if you're open to receive and try new things, it's what you're doing today is a stepping stone to something better. If you're happy and your business is great and you love it, that's amazing. Like, you're lucky, you found it. You found your place. But for me, I'm still on that journey, right? That journey to freedom.
Absolutely.
In my own way. And every day is a new chance to become a little better, and every business that you get into is another opportunity, another stepping stone to something even better as well. That's my belief, and that's just kind of how I felt. So it's just cool. Don't get worried or wrapped up in what you're doing today. Just keep pushing, keep learning, keep growing, and you never know where you're going to be in 5 years.
Absolutely. Learning is key. I had a 4.5-hour ride out here. I could have listened to the radio the whole way. Instead, I was watching YouTube videos.
That's awesome, man.
So they're playing in the vehicle as I'm driving.
Who are you watching, man? Give some shout outs.
I was watching a couple of your videos, and then I stumbled across this new channel that I had never seen before. It's called the FBA Couple.
The FBA Couple?
Yeah. It was,
shout out to the FBA Couple.
It was quite interesting. They were going through just about every video. They're pushing their course, which is good for them. They're trying to market that. But they talk about those same stepping stones that they made to get to where they're at today.
Yeah.
And a lot of people will sit there and call them failures, or they'll dwell on them. They're only failures if you keep them negative. Instead, you got to learn from them and grow, and then keep it as a positive thing.
Yeah. It's so true. The only failure is if you quit and give up. We live in a world where there's no such thing as as being a failure. I mean, because everyone's always making mistakes. The people who are most successful make the most mistakes. They fail the most, but they get punched, they get knocked down, but they get back up again.
Absolutely.
And the great thing about reselling is you don't have to, there's so many business models, from thrifting to garage sales to library sales to hitting pawn shops, even liquidation, starting with smaller boxes. You don't have to, you want to start a pizzeria, you're putting like 50 grand down, or a franchise, a couple $100,000. You get into this business on a couple $100. If you're smart and use your head and you watch these YouTube videos and you network, you have a really good chance of succeeding.
Absolutely. So we've kept these viewers on here for almost 10 minutes now. Any last words of wisdom?
I think really I want to stick with the theme that we're talking about, since we're here at the Connecticut Thrifting Meetup. And it's, want to know what? You are the average of the 5 people you hang out with most. That's a quote from Jim Rohn. Jim Rohn was actually the mentor to Tony Robbins. And it's true. Who you hang out with, you become. If you hang out with a bunch of people who are complaining about their jobs and saying that the economy sucks and I can never do that, and the people who have money, they're just ripping people off, and resellers are just vultures. Everyone says these things. It's like, that's what you're going to believe. There's really no reality besides the reality that you accept, and who you hang out with is who you're going to become. So, you know what, I'm not saying to, abandon your friends and family, but try to not spend as much time with people who are in situations that you don't want to be in. Really, at the end of the day, that's my number one piece of advice. And the Connecticut Thrifting Meetup is just such a positive environment. There's a million other ones too. I'm not here to just plug it. It's a free event, so there's nothing really in it for me. But
and don't be afraid if there's not a group in your area. Start one.
Start it up. Call it the Syracuse Thrifting Meetup.
Yeah, absolutely. we kind of have a small one, and it's a group of us that talk back and forth about different things. We've met in person, but we don't have anything formal. I think it's time to get something formal.
Yeah.
There's Dominic that's in the Syracuse area who started a small little Facebook group that, like, the Reseller Resource Center, I believe is what he calls it.
That's cool.
I'll put a link down in the description. That thing grew like overnight. It just blew up, and it's because people are in there sharing value.
Yeah,
they're talking about how to improve their listings on eBay, how to list on Poshmark. What's the best sources for shipping, and it's just like-minded resellers helping one another.
Yeah,
and that's what these meetups are about.
Go out there, find some people to connect with.
Absolutely. Most importantly, just get out there and go do.
Peace.